Hi, Swole Sisters.
Worldwide!
Did you even know she was here?
I think I may have peeked early.
That's going to be the best part of this live. That's it. Oh, Ozman has made it downstairs. All right, today we're going to talk deadlifting. Normally we might be in the gym talking deadlifting with a barbell, but I think a lot of people are at home with lighter weights. So we're going to talk about 3 common deadlift mistakes and how to fix them and how to make deadlifting a little harder with your light to mid-weight dumbbells.
Jen,
What
is a deadlift?
Oh, yeah, that's true. So deadlifting was actually, the form was invented when the Romans were picking corpses up off the battlefield. So this is a good
Is
form.
that true?
I don't know. I feel like I read it somewhere.
Oh my god, that's so dark.
Yeah, and you
I think about it as the bend and snap.
Oh, okay. Well, that's way cuter. And then, did you know kettlebells were like used to hold down tents?
Whose tents?
Like, I don't know if that was the Russians, or I feel like it was probably the Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Got it.
So, we're going to be talking, there's this little spot on my phone, and then it looks like I have a spot on my chin.
You just gotta stay outside that.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll, make it a nice beauty mark. So, we are going to be talking about Romanian deadlifts mainly today. So, a conventional deadlift would be that one that you see people lifting the barbell completely off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bigger range of motion, a little more flex in the knees. A Romanian deadlift is like I think of it like the purest of hip hinges. Really.
Yes.
Yeah.
So softer knees and more action in the hip joint, which in turn gives you more activation through the hamstring and glute. As soon as the knees start bending, you're getting more into the quad.
Right.
So the cool thing about the Romanian deadlift is it's more targeting these muscles, which I think, a lot of ladies don't know how to live. They're like, I feel everything here. I have a lot of clients, they feel everything through their quads. So if you're having a hard time activating the glutes and hamstrings, the Romanian deadlift is a great way to get all up in there.
I should grab dumbbells here. Get in there.
So the first mistake, what's the first mistake on the list, Jen? Is it posture?
Yeah, you can start with the posture.
Yeah, so
Here.
we went over this last, so our whole theme actually for the month of August for our boss membership was about posture. So this is going to, how much is on these?
It's 20 a piece.
Oh, okay. They look very scary.
They do. Yeah, they look that big when they're 10, so.
So scary.
And just as an example, so people, I'm going to drink my coffee here while we're doing this. She picked the weights up doing a deadlift. So people think like deadlifting, you shouldn't do it, you should always bend at the knees. But she just picked something up using a hip hinge.
I did. It probably wasn't very good form, but. So yeah, one of the biggest things I initially see is just the posture going to hell on the way down. Most of the time people they can keep it for about a quarter of the way, and then what begins to happen is a rounding of the spine. And you can see that the weight now moves away from my body, my shoulder blades have come away from my spine, and if you were to look at me standing up, this is literally what my posture looks like.
Now
so we know that's not right.
Great.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly right. So one really cool hack that I've kind of found for this, and it's been really helpful for my clients who are struggling to keep that good posture when they're deadlifting, is the behind the back deadlift. So I'm not sure even if it works best with a kettlebell, but I wonder if I can do it with these.
Yeah, I guess you can try. I can grab it.
Actually, no, that's fine. So here, guys, basically what I have is an underhand grip, and then I'm just going to grip over that. And maybe you could switch, if you remember to switch up your grip, that would be good. And you just put that right behind you. Feet are about hip distance apart. You can immediately really get into a pretty natural position with the good posture, shoulder blades squeezed together. The only thing you want to try not to do is get the hyperextension through the whole back, right? Mm-hmm. So try not to pop that booty out. Keep the ribs tucked, and that nice cylindrical shape through the trunk. And then from here, you can push those hips back and then come up, squeezing the glutes as you come up. So you can see that just kind of immediately puts me in a better position posturally.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's helpful if you have a mirror or if you want to videotape
Totally.
yourself to just see what's happening when it comes to your
Absolutely.
upper back. But just because this is a leg exercise, it does work your whole upper back. So pulling those shoulder blades back while keeping your arms straight, I think is something that a lot of people struggle with. So
Oh my God, that's such a difficult skill.
yeah, so one of the things, another cue you can use in cahoots.
In conversion with, in
connection
combination with,
is just
Words.
that lat engagement. So holding your arms out, pretending you have, like a soft metal, not soft, but a metal bar, and you're bending that bar, and that engages your glutes, and that's where your arms should be when you do this. So these are not glutes, your lats. So
Yeah.
they should be tight, and the arms should be in. It shouldn't pull away from your body.
Yeah, and I mean, you think about, I always think about it as like, don't let that weight push you around.
Yeah.
Like, basically what's happening is that weight is like pulling, you're like, whoa, it's like, hell no. You control that weight, you gotta resist the weight. And that's a huge part of it. But that's a good point. We talk a lot about, everybody is so obsessed with buns right now. But like, that deadlift works the entire posterior chain, which just means like the back of your body. Like from the entire thing though. Maybe not even calves very much, but
unfortunately.
everything else.
Another common mistake, numero dos, is going to be too much or too little knee flexion.
I think this is a really common thing.
Yes, so a lot of people take their deadlift and they start good, they got that hip hinge, and then we drop down.
Yeah.
So it's a great squat, and as Justine was saying, we're going to not hit the posterior chain. We're not going to hit the back of the body as much if you bend the knees on the way down. And then on the other end of things, we've got some people that lock their knees out.
That makes me so nervous.
So we should have a soft bend.
Yeah, the athletic bend. Like, I always think about it this way, like you want to be hard to knock over, right? If you're standing with your leg, like literally, I just feel like I could just like get blown over by a breeze right now, right? So you always want to think like, stand with that strong foundation. If you look at an athlete out on a field somewhere, they're never standing with their knees locked out. They're always, maybe in baseball if there hasn't been a hit in a really long time. Maybe some of the outfielders.
They should be always ready though.
Whatever. Yeah, they should be always ready. Yeah. That's a great point. And I think you mentioned too, this is why filming yourselves, guys, is so important. I just did that video. I almost took this part out because I was doing a deadlift with light weight and my back was like rounding. And then I look at it and I was like, oh my goodness, So even for me sometimes, as somebody who's done deadlifting a million times, I can still do weird stuff. So if you have that, especially from the side angle of your video, Jen mentioned, I don't know if you already mentioned this, but the idea being that the shins stay basically perpendicular to the floor. If your knees start to travel forward, then you know that you're not sending those hips back enough.
Which gets us to mistake number 3.
Segue.
Yeah. And that is that folks will have the soft bend in their knees, and maybe they even have the good posture, but then what happens is they're coming forward instead of initiating by pushing the butt back. So you see this little pole behind me? If I just go forward, my butt stays kind of in the same place in alignment with the pole. But if I push my butt back, see how it's moving like a foot behind that pole.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure that that weight shifts backward. And then we also have to make sure on the way up, this is a big one, is a lot of people don't think about how they stand back up, and they just go like this. And
they lift with the upper body.
Yes, so they're just bringing their chest up, and visually it's going to look the same, but if you're feeling your lower back, you need to think about squeezing your butt and driving your hips forward. I like to think about Wayne's World. That's my favorite, when Garth does his little dance and he's like, I want to take you there, the Foxy Lady dance. No?
I haven't seen that movie in like 20 years.
Yeah, and there's probably some younger people that watch this that haven't seen it, or maybe older people that didn't watch it.
Regardless.
And then finish stacked. Shoulders, hips, ankles.
You mean not like this?
This. Yeah. I like this pole here because you can see that.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, because some people would finish like this. I want to make sure that we finish stacked. And then if you have a question about how low to go, you want to go as low as you can while continuing to push your hips back. So say I get here and then I'm like, want to get more range of motion.
Yeah, as soon as your hips stop moving, your upper body stops moving. You don't, Jennifer, you don't, like, that's the rule, right? Because this is a hip dominant movement. It's not an upper body movement. So as soon as your hips can't move back anymore, that's it. Your upper body doesn't move. Like, two things. Number one is, and I forgot about this, but using the wall. So like if you have your heels 6 inches away from the wall, move, like you should be, so if you're having a trouble, like I don't know if I'm moving my hips back or if I'm just bending forward, get against a wall, give yourself 6 to 8 inches and see, like if you're moving, this is a great way to get sending your hips back and having that feedback of the wall. Obviously you can get so far away, it's like, you know, you're a little ridiculous. Yeah. And also thinking about as you're coming up in your deadlift, that's a glute bridge. It's the same biomechanics.
I love it.
Lying down and you squeeze, so this is lying down, just imagine me lying down, and then at the top of the bridge, I'm here, and then my butt goes to the floor, and then I squeeze to come up. It's the same movement, it's a hip hinge. Yeah. Okay, we can move on.
Okay.
Oh, so many things.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the common metaphors I use or whatever is you got your groceries in your hand and you need to close your car door. You have to push your butt back.
You go,
boop! Which is funny for some reason when I ever ask a man about that, they're like,
they don't know. They're like, I use my elbow.
Or they're like,
I kicked the door.
Grocery shop?
They're like, what is this grocery shopping you're talking about? Yeah, totally.
Okay, so now the deadlift, a lot of times people are like, I don't feel it. It's probably because the weight is too light.
Yeah, deadlifting technically is the heaviest weight that anyone can lift is going to be in a deadlift move. Like, of all the lifts, bench press, squatting, like the deadlift is the heaviest weight that your body can possibly manage.
So, especially if you're at home and you've got like 10s or 15s,
like me.
Yeah, a regular Romanian deadlift is probably not going to cut it.
Yeah.
So, ones that we like and you see a lot in our workout videos is going to be the single leg deadlift. And all those common mistakes are going to apply for that one. We'll see people with the rounded back. We'll see people try to squat it.
Yeah.
That's a big burn on the quads. And then we'll see people lock on this one in particular.
Oh, I know, the lockout. Dude, I can tell you this. I used to, before Jen and I started doing so many demo videos, I would go on YouTube a lot and like search for, many demo videos and Google images of the single leg Romanian deadlift. Women are literally like, well, you can't see my knee. They're like literally locked out in the knee. And I'm like, who in the heck is okay? Like Google, dear Google, these pictures are harmful.
Hey Google.
Yeah. So that is really common. It's just scary to think that some people might be trying to like get more information on this and then getting the wrong
Which is why she goes to Swole Sisters YouTube channel for your demo videos.
Yeah.
We definitely have Romanian deadlift on there.
We do.
Yes, so all of those things apply for the single leg Romanian deadlift.
Yeah, and guys, if you notice that your weight is moving like far away from your body, that is a really good indication that turn around, Jen, that all these muscles of the thoracic spine are not engaged. So when Jen engages her thoracic spine muscles in her lats, that is what is going to keep that weight close to you. If you have the weight far away, it's like lengthening this lever, which puts so much more stress. Is that the fulcrum? Yeah, like it puts so much more stress right on the low back.
Yeah.
So low back hurting, guys, in a deadlift, message us if that's happening to you and let us help you with that, because that's first of all, I don't want people to get discouraged and feel like, oh, this deadlift is hurting me. I'm sure it's something that we can work out with either a different version or some form tips.
And also on a side note, people with knee issues, deadlift is awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
because there's none of that flexion that might be causing your pain. And you're especially a single leg one, you're building up all of those stabilizing muscles. So this is actually like a super knee friendly exercise.
Very knee friendly.
So that's exciting.
Cool. So we have a single leg deadlift.
Yes, I want to make one other comment, and this is a personal preference for me.
I'm going to disagree.
Say you're deciding to do it with just one weight. So what's the difference between holding 2 weights and holding 1 weight?
More core.
Yes. We need more core. Sorry, I don't
Christopher Walken, more core work.
I have a fever, and the only cure is more core. So if you take it to just a one-sided thing, yes. And I prefer to have the side that holds the weight be the same side as the legs in the air. Reason being, when people go this way, they open their hips up like that. And we're really trying to stabilize. And remember, it's hip to be square. So, use that weight to help pull your hips down so you can keep a nice stable.
Totally. And the fact is, guys, if you're externally rotating, which just means like your hip is opening with that back leg, you're not going to feel it in your glute and hamstring. You're going to feel it probably through the adductor, mostly through the adductor. Yeah. I mean, and maybe vastus lateralis, which is this muscle here, the outside of the quad. So if you're like, I'm still not feeling it, probably it's because that hip is not staying square.
Yeah, and one more note too, we've done these two.
One more note, guys.
One more note. If you're finding yourself struggling to balance, I love this split stance. So what you're going to do is set up on that foot, and then you're just going to ever so lightly put that back toe down. We don't want to put it back too far.
It's not a lunge.
You want to keep your hip over your foot, and then just tap down. And then everything else is the same, and then you can have that balance, and you can focus on the movement.
And
it's really nice too because you can slow it down and really feel your hamstring. So, do you want to do the foot elevated?
Yeah, the foot elevated is similar to the kickstand. The what do you call that?
Split stance.
The split stance deadlift. Very, very similar. And it's the same idea. It's like I did this for people who were so concerned with their balance, or because their balance was off, like they just couldn't focus on anything else. And that's a common thing for people. People get so freaked out about falling over, they can't really focus on what you're trying to get them to focus on. So very similar idea. You're just resting the back foot basically, and the quads are parallel with one another, nice soft. And the hips are still same idea. They're still going to travel back. I'm not driving through this leg. You can see that leg is very, very loose and relaxed. But if for some reason I felt a little bit unstable, it's there if I need it. I'm not going to fall over. So again, it's just a single leg deadlift. And it gets really nicely in. It helps with this. So if you're having a really hard time, you're like, well, I'm doing the Romanian deadlift, but I can't keep my hips square. This is a really, really great way to keep the hips square.
Yeah. In particular, when I've trained people that have done figure skating and ballet,
interesting.
They have that tendency.
They're so involved, and they already have. If they've been doing plie stuff, that's a thing. Those external hip rotations, especially if they've been doing it. If you guys have been doing ballet from like you're a toddler, literally like your hips are just like going to be more externally rotated. It's a great point.
Sweet. And then one more way to make your deadlifts harder. Well, like 2 ways.
I don't remember now.
This is why I have you doing those dumbbell swings all the time.
Oh, it's a swing.
Yeah. So
swing.
It's just a deadlift with more acceleration.
Yeah, I love it.
More power, right? So everything that we were talking about applies here.
Look how long this thing is.
Is that longer than normal? I don't even know where I got that.
It's as long as more than my torso. Go ahead.
So we want to make sure we got the upper back is nice and flat. We got to make sure we have the hinge. We got a soft bend in the knees, and we got a squat. So we're just gonna pop it back.
That would be an outtake if Jeff and I knew how to edit our videos.
I cannot. Oh, you totally go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I know you do. I'm good.
I these weights. They're like gold right now. Yeah, so just pushing the hips back, squeeze the butt, come up. And I think we could probably spend a whole Facebook
On
Live
kettlebell
talking about
swings, I think people get really freaked out by them, to be honest.
Yeah.
People don't feel super safe, and then they do end up trying to lift it with the arms.
Right, yeah.
Which is an issue.
Yes, yeah. So maybe we'll save like an extensive swing talk.
Kettlebell swing.
Yes. But another option is to superset 2 hamstring exercises back to back. And that's going to
especially if you're not feeling it, which I totally get. Like, it's hard to wake up those muscles if they're not used to working. Mm-hmm. It is. They don't want to work.
No, they do not. So you could do that with a hamstring rollout. There's those heel walkouts. You do some glute bridges, anything like that. Now, normally we probably program deadlifts in the beginning of a workout because you want to do those heavier lifts in the beginning. But when you've got lighter weight and the deadlift actually might be one of the easier exercises, then maybe you want to put that one more towards the end when you're more fatigued and you can feel it more.
Yeah, or even putting it in a circuit with like something like a band pull bar. Ooh, so you're getting that activation through the back and like a hamstring exercise and a deadlift. That could be like a 3-exercise circuit.
A whole little pull circuit there.
Yeah, I do that a lot though, because then it like reinforces the good posture. You do like the band pulls, and then like if you go right into a deadlift after band pulls, you kind of already have that burn and that activation happening in the thoracic.
I like it. Okay.
Is that it?
Anything else to say?
Probably. But that's enough information.
I feel like that's like our briefest version of a live ever.
That was a lot of information. If you have questions, post below. Is that all?
Yeah.
And we'll continue our intuitive eating going down our list. We just wanted to take a little break from that and do something more physical and exercise oriented, and then we'll go back to that probably like next week. Or maybe we'll do 2 lives.
Oh my god.
Jen and I didn't discuss this earlier. She's like,
this is not approved on my clipboard of fun. I don't know.
Oh, that's hilarious.
All right.
Thank you, Soul Sisters.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time.
Yes. Bye-bye.